Hey guys! So the microphone was actually turned off when I recorded my intro, so yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and jump right in. I am mixing two foundations here. I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the color Nude, which is my normal foundation, and then I'm using the regular HD foundation from Makeup Forever. It's in the shade 175, and I'm just blending it in all over my face with a damp beauty blender sponge. And just make sure that you cover the entire surface area that you can see from your forehead all the way down to your neck. I did my ears, my eyelids, everything, because I am pasty white and I need to look super tan. So now that I look like I'm tanorexic, we can move on to contouring. I'm using this concealer palette from Makeup Forever to contour my face. I'm starting by doing the cheekbone area and then connecting this area from my nose down and then making like a Y shape here. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like a Y. And then on this side, I accidentally went in with a darker shade. Whoops. And so I just decided to continue that shade all over on the rest of my face instead of the lighter shade. So just contour the crap out of your face basically. I will be going over this a ton, just continually throughout the video. It's like a never-ending video of contouring. So yeah, it'll be super fun. You can pretty much ignore the whole nose area right now because I go over it like a bajillion times, and this is just the start of it. This was like my first attempt at it, and yeah, it didn't look so good. But don't worry, I end up fixing it later. So I did the chin, nose, I did the forehead area because men have more of a forehead bone area, or it's just more pronounced, you know? And so I'm just blending all of that in. Make sure it is all the way blended in because you don't want any harsh lines or anything like that. Even though this will be super dramatically contoured, you still want it to be natural? I don't know. Not natural, but you know what I mean. You want it to be blended. Okay, so I am adding some of that contour to my brow bone area because we want to broaden that whole area, and I'm deepening up the forehead contour. Then I'm going to set everything. I'm using the darkest shade from the Anastasia contour kit, and I'm using an E40 brush from Sigma. This is actually a blending brush for your eyeballs, but it really doesn't matter. I like it because it's very precise, and we are contouring with very particular and precise areas here. So I used a small brush like this to get the job done. So I am just continuing this on the other side of my face, and then once you think that you have contoured enough, go back in and contour some more. Honestly, you just layer and layer and layer and layer and layer. Kind of like how I talk about with eyes, creating dimensions starting with light to dark. That's basically what we're doing with the face here, starting with lighter contouring and then building it up and building it up. And just wait till the end. It gets super contoured and super dark. So just putting this into the inner corner of the bridge of the nose, if that makes any sense, like where the brow and the nose sort of kind of meet. I'm just defining that area there, and then I'm starting to do more nose contouring. Look at me trying to be all light with that contour. Oh, please. Just wait. Just wait. I mean, it gets really interesting later on in the video. So you can see my very failed second attempt at this, trying to make these nostrils here. Yeah, that looked terrible. So we're going to blend that away. Now I am adding some red lip gloss, and I'm stippling it onto my cheeks, my forehead, nose, everywhere. And this will make it look like you're actually sunburned, like you've been in the sun for a long period of time and you have a lot of sun damage. So the lip gloss that I'm actually using is from Dior, but honestly, use whatever red lip gloss that you have. This is the only one that I own, and I got it in gratis when I worked at Sephora, so just use whatever you have. Then I'm taking the color Mocha from Makeup Geek, and I'm starting to fill in my eyebrows. I'm doing light strokes to make it look like actual brow hairs, and this is the picture I'm referring to. I'm just trying to mimic them as much as possible, just by making them a little bit thicker, not too thick because he didn't have overly thick eyebrows. I'm just making mine a little bit bushier and a little bit straighter just to mimic his as much as possible. Later on, I even go in with a black eyeshadow to make them even darker. Then I'm putting some eyeliner into my bottom waterline, And then I'm just going to use my finger to smudge it out. I have a little bit of mocha, that same eyeshadow that we used in our eyebrow. I have that on my finger and I'm just blending out that eyeliner, messing it up as much as possible. That's why this look is so much fun, because you can be super messy and it just works because that's exactly how you want it to look. So I did the same thing but on the top lash line as well, which doesn't really matter because I end up going in with gel liner anyways. Just make it super, super messy, sloppy. Use that eyeshadow to blend it out. This is the Wicked gel liner from Sigma that I was talking about. I just used it on my ring finger and I actually squint so that it creases because he was out in the sun. His makeup that he had on his eyes was melting off, so we want it to look like that. So squint as much as possible because you want this to crease and you want this to be sloppy. Then I'm taking some Embark eyeshadow from MAC on this fluffy brush and I'm putting it into the inner socket, and I was out of focus. What the heck? So now that I'm back in focus, I will show you that again. I'm just putting that into the inner socket there. So then I'm also putting that on the outer part of that brow bone because we want to make that look higher up, closer to the eyebrow, and then I'm squinting like crazy to try to get this to crease. Again, you really want this to be super, super sloppy. Now I'm working on my second attempt at the nose. I'm taking that mocha color and with a very precise brush, I'm trying to define the bridge of the nose and the nostrils. And it's looking a little bit closer to what it ends up looking like, but still not good enough. But you can see here I'm really trying to define it, and then I go and try to blend it out, but my brush decided to run away, so instead I just used my finger. So I'm just blending it out here. Again, just pretty much ignore this part. But I'm deepening up the eyes with more of that gel liner and just using my finger. So then I thought this part was pretty cool. I covered up the outside of my lip area with a nude eyeliner pencil. You can use the concealer, it doesn't really matter, but he had a pretty small bottom lip. It was very narrow, so I'm just covering up that part, and then I'm taking Cocoa Bear eyeshadow from Makeup Geek on my finger, and I'm applying it to the lips because, again, he's sunburnt. He's got darker lips than I do. You want to make it look really kind of worn. Moving on to the facial hair. I got this facial hair from Party City, and I'm just applying some Spirit Gum to that upper lip area, but beware, when you take this off, you will be getting a wax if you don't remove it properly. So I'm also applying it to the moustache itself, and then I'm putting it onto the sticky area, just like so. And if you noticed, I did cut that in half so I could be more precise with the application, but this gets really sticky when you get it on your fingers. So be very careful with that, because if you try to press it down and then take your hand off, it can tend to take that off as well. So I'm also doing this to the chinny chin area. I'm putting it on my chin and the hair there, putting it on. I put it a little lower to make my face look a little bit longer, but as you can see, I had to use something else to keep it on because my fingers were getting super sticky and it was just taking it right off and defeating the purpose. So then this was the mustache that came with the beard part, and I decided to cut off a little piece and make myself a soul patch out of that piece. So it kind of worked out that I got that extra moustache in my thing. So putting that on there, and then I took this braided loose hair from Kryolan. It's really gross. I asked the lady when I bought it, I said, do you have any hair that I can buy? But I chopped it up into some small pieces and I just applied it to the jawline the same exact way that we applied the other ones. And if it gets a little bit too bushy and long, you can always trim it, because he didn't have like a bushy beard. He just had a little bit of fuzz on his face. So just make yourself look very extra manly there with that hair. And now I'm going to chisel out my contour even more. I'm taking the banana shade from the Anastasia contour kit and I'm just chiseling it out here because we want that to be very, very strong. On the nose area, I covered up the nostrils with that same banana shade, and this is where it really started to come to life. I just kind of covered those areas up, and then I measured where the nostrils on his face ended. So his nostrils went all the way out to where like your iris starts, so I marked that there, and then I drew in the nostrils, and this just made it make so much more sense because his nose is a lot more pointy than mine, but it's also wider at the same time, if that makes any sense. Well, he's just got some really, really flared out nostrils compared to me, at least. So I just drew those in there, and then I also made the bridge a lot wider just to kind of complement the nostril area. So yeah, that's basically how I did it. And then if it ever gets pretty messy, you can just go back in with that banana shade and lighten up the nostril area. I go back to this again later, but you know, you get the gist of it. I'm darkening up the eyes with that same gel liner. Don't forget to crease your eyes when you do this. Blend it out, make it messy, sloppy, all that jazz. I'm setting the whole face and neck with the Fix Plus spray from MAC because I want to look as dewy as possible. Well, not dewy. I want to look sweaty because, again, he's a pirate. He's been in the sun. You want to look sweaty. So I'm finally adding the wig. This is actually a Jamaican wig, but I think they have like actual Captain Jack Sparrow wigs that you can buy online and stuff. But this works. I actually already owned this, so I got the bandana from Party City as well. And now that you have all of that on, you can kind of get a better idea of how this is looking. So I decided to give myself some brow furrows because he was aging a lot more than I am. I deepened up the contour like crazy. I used Embark eyeshadow from MAC on a pencil brush, and I just deepened everything up like insane. So the nose, the chin, the cheek contour, the eyes, everything. Now I'm adding the scar. I used the red color from this color wheel from Kryolan, and then I covered it up with brown eyeshadow just to give it some depth. You could use some actual like scar stuff for this, but I was lazy and I just drew it on. So yeah, now that all of that is done, your look is now complete. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs it up if you did, and subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!